Good night, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Dialogue with the Diaspora. I am your host, Diane Haylock. It is heartwarming to learn of all that Belizeans in the diaspora are doing to assist our communities, especially children at home here in Belize. One nonprofit organization that has been very active is the United Belizeans of Northern Illinois. Here tonight to shed some light on their great work is Ms. Miriam Graham from the United Belizean of Northern Illinois. Welcome to the show, Ms. Graham.
Thank you so much, Ms. Halak, for having us.
Before we get into UBNI, please tell us a little bit about your Belizean roots. Who is your family, where you used to live, and when you migrated to the United States?
Well, ada Belizean, so ada Pancayo, the best, the West. But my family name is Manzanero, the Manzanero in San Ignacio, and my dad is Balta or Juan Baltasar Manzanero. Okay. So the Manzanero from San Ignacio, that's where I'm from.
Okay, so how long ago did you migrate to the United States?
Only since 1995, and I always say it hurt me because I come November 19th, and you know, everybody, November 19th, it's Garifuna Day, so the 18th is when they celebrate everything, and I couldn't participate because, you know, I had to come in the plane to America.
Yeah. Now, Ms. Graham, please tell us about United Belizeans of Northern Illinois. Perhaps you can start from the beginning. How did the organization get started, and what is its purpose?
Okay, so the purpose of United Belizean of Northern Illinois is to educate, to make sure that someone in need get help funded. So for us, a small group of Belizeans here in 2009 decided to form this nonprofit organization so we will be able to give back to the community here in Northern Illinois and also in Belize, Central America.
You got started in 2009, if I understand you correctly?
Yes.
And the group of Belizeans that are doing this, you're all in the Northern Illinois area?
Correct. That is correct.
And how many of you are actually doing this?
I would say at this point, well, you know, there's always committed members and non-committed members. So we are, I would say about 25, 50 very committed members, but we are over 100 in the group. But again, everyone to their timing, how they can help out and how they could volunteer.
Okay, so let's zero in a bit more on the purpose. I mean, I know you spoke about this being an organization that is dedicated to education. And if I understand you correctly, you're talking about giving educational assistance to perhaps persons that are unable to finance their educational development. Tell me a little bit more about the organization and the specifics of what you actually do.
Okay, so United Belizean of Northern Illinois, what they do is we provide some students here in the United States that are going to college. So any college and you enroll, there is a form that you fill out, and that's how they would qualify you for you to be as participant, a scholarship participant. And also in Belize, Central America, we choose the rural area where kids need to go to college, but you know, many are disadvantaged because they cannot provide for their their kids. So what we do is we go and we seek the principal from that school, and there's like a drawing, of course, and we want to see which school, and we draw the school name, and then we go to the principal, we make sure that the disadvantaged child gets help. and they have to also maintain a GPA.
Okay. If I can go back to the students that you are helping in the United States, are these specifically Belizeans?
Yes, they have to be born Belizean or born from a Belizean family.
Okay, great. And when you say college, you mean university? Because you know, here
Yes.
in Belize, we use college to also mean secondary school. But you are speaking about university there.
In Belize, as you know, like you are correct. So that would be from first form to fourth form. That would be in Belize, Central America. In America, it's college. Anything after the 12th grade, going
Okay.
into college.
Great. Wow, that's quite interesting. What kind of response have you had from Belizeans living in the United States?
Well, our Belizean are very, very supportive. So even from the toy drive to the barbecues, donations. We are very, very organized here, and we appreciate all the Belizean help and the non-Belizean that do support us for this cause that we are doing for our community.
So in terms of raising your funds, then you're actually doing some of the usual kind of fundraising activities.
Correct. We do from, barbecue, rice and beans. We try raffle 1 and 2, lead things there. And the biggest, I would say, is everyone participating for these events to happen, for us to say United Belizean of Northern Illinois is giving back to the community, but without the community, we're no one. We do need the help.
But like on an annual basis, what is your target? What kinds of funds are you actually looking to raise in any given year?
Well, it started at a small amount, and every year it seems that it's increasing and increasing. Up to date, we gave, except the COVID year, we gave 1,000 for every student here. And I believe we had about 10 participants. And so we do raise quite a bit. And also the ones in Belize, I believe, whatever the college fee is, because each district is different. So we are definitely anything over $10,000. We have to make sure we budget to give back to the community.
So in Belize, more or less, how many students are you reaching on an annual basis?
I would say 1 per each district.
1 per district?
Yes.
Okay. And in the US, you're saying approximately 10 people per year?
Now it has gone up to 10, yes.
It's about 10, okay. So it seems as though the Belizean community in Northern Illinois is very supportive, you would say?
I would say yes. Without their support, United Belizean cannot stand.
So what would you say has been UBNI's formula for success then to attract and maintain this kind of support?
Well, we like dance, right? So we do have galas. We have our barbecue sale because we love to eat too. We love when, especially almost now when Chicago is getting nicer, that's when we would also have our barbecue sale. And that would be one of the best sale too, because that's how we raise some of our money to support the cause that we're having here at the United Belizean of Northern of Illinois.
So you basically try to do those things that Belizeans love doing, eating and dancing.
Yes, more socializing. And, it is so great because, I may not have like a whole day to spend, but just come and clean up or clean the chicken, everything. It's a task for everyone to come and help, and it makes it easier on the members too.
So the socializing, you would say, then is perhaps an important aspect of maintaining that support, that it gives our Belizeans there an opportunity to come together and connect as one people?
Yes, I would definitely say that, Ms. Halak. We are, like, let's say I not see you a long time. And then all of a sudden hey, I not see you, where you met there? So the gala brings people together. The community, when we are doing walks or we're doing the shoe drive, everyone pitch in to come and help, because packing is not easy.
Yes, I can well understand that. If you can take me back a bit to how you choose which schools or communities you assist in Belize, I want to understand a little bit more about that.
Definitely. So we go ahead and there's like, as you know, the schooling system. We want to know where the rural area is. Then we say, okay, how many high school is in each district there? And let's example, if we say, because I'm from Cayo, let's say Cayo. So let's say if I pick Cayo, then we want to know which high school, which is the most rural area. And let's say there's two of them. So then we have a drawing, like, okay, there's two schools in Cayo. So then we draw a school for Cayo, but each district we also draw. And that's how we come to the conclusion who gets this assistance.
Can you recall perhaps the schools or one or two of the schools that you've actually supported in more recent times?
I believe this 2019, we did support the Toledo district, Orange Walk district, the Sartaneja school. I believe in the San Ignacio one was by the Yalbak area. There was a school there that we did support. There's so many schools that I know RC school, but to be specific, then I would have to go back and check the specific names. But definitely the schoolings, everything is registered, so we can always go back and check on those schools.
But how do you actually choose this? Having chosen the schools, how do you actually choose the children that will get that support from the UBNI?
Okay, so this kid has to make sure that they are, of course, passing grade, and then having a GPA. They go ahead and they choose the child that's most needed. So we also participate with the principals, and they're the ones who would, of course, guide us to see who needs help.
And having chosen a child in a given year, is the support to that child for the duration of their secondary school years?
It's for the 4 years in Belize. So it's all the way from first form to fourth form.
Okay. And in the United States?
In the United States, it's every year you would have to apply.
Okay. I want to turn to COVID, which is uppermost in all our minds. And you said earlier, you alluded to the fact that the COVID year 2020 in particular may have been different from your other years. How has COVID affected your program?
Well, I'm lost for words to say about, COVID year. We haven't done anything, fundraising, gatherings. I don't even think we've had our first meeting as yet. So COVID has dampened our progress for 2020. And, like in every business and country, we're on pause right now.
Yeah, I can understand that. Given the fact that COVID is still very much with us, and I guess still looking forward, what might be your plans or your hopes for 2021 under the circumstances?
Well, right now, I believe our next meeting will be in another week or two. So we will have some plans as soon as we sit down and analyze what's next. As like I said, we are on a pause right now. And hopefully, once we have that board meeting, then we will have a plan as to what will be next. And, we just want to support our Belizean community here because education is so important and it doesn't pause because of COVID. So we need to start, our dances or anything or anyone that wants to support. You can support a child with $75.
Yeah.
But, everyone can pitch in a $5, $10, But the thing is, we want to make sure that the kids continue their education.
So for those people who might be watching our show and wanting to contribute to the program, how can they do so? Can you give us some of the specifics there?
Definitely. Well, one, you can always go to www.ubni.org, or you can give us a call also. Our phone number is 224-430-9139. And if you would like to mail a check too, we accept those. So you can also United Belizean of Northern Illinois, and it will be P.O. Box 1036, Waukegan, Illinois 60079.
Okay. Well, we commend you and the entire organization for your commitment to this absolutely wonderful program. I want to thank you so very much for joining us tonight, Ms. Graham. Any last word?
I would say education is power to everyone, but without the help of our community, we're no one.
Thank you very much again. Viewers, we will take a very first break, and when we return, we will be chatting with another guest who is making her contributions to the education sector as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Dialogue with the Diaspora. Diane Haylock here with you again. In our first segment, we heard all about how some Belizeans in North Illinois have band together to assist students and families with scholarships and supplies. Keeping with the education theme, we will now meet a retired teacher who has been lending her extensive knowledge and skills to teacher development. I am so pleased to have Miss Ernestine Augustus join our dialogue. Good evening and welcome, Miss Augustus.
Good evening.
Perhaps I could call you Miss Ernestine, right?
Fine, no problem.
Okay, I want to start off by asking you to share a little bit about yourself and your history in Belize.
In Belize, I was raised in Cinderella Town with my grandmother. My mother migrated to the United States, and I joined her when I was 14. I had already finished 3 years at Palodi High School. That's the extension of my life in Belize.
Yeah. So how long ago did you leave Belize?
I left Belize in 1971.
Okay, wow. So that's
about 50 years.
About 50 years. Wow, that's a whole lifetime, huh?
Yes, definitely.
And so that means you did all your tertiary level education in the United States?
In the United States. Okay. I finished high school here and went to college. I actually did not start my career until 35.
Raising family before that?
Raising family first, and then went to work.
And pretty much was a teacher?
Right. I actually was the PA president at my school, at my children's school, where I got the opportunity to interview for a job that I didn't think I was going to get at the time because I did not go to college after high school.
But you got the job?
But I did.
Okay.
The reason for that is because the two people that interviewed with me both had college degrees, and I didn't have any. but I got the job.
Oh, great. All right.
And that started my career in education. I had no college credits, so in 1 year I needed 15 credits. So I registered at college, went work with the kids. I had 4 children, and I did college at the same time. It was kind of difficult, but I made it through. As a matter of fact, my eldest child and I graduated together from college.
Wow. So perhaps you can share with us now what you do with teacher development for Belizean educators.
Well, I was invited by Ms. Faye Gillett to come to Belize and do a unit on special education because that's my certification. And I did. I went in 2003, I believe I started. And so every summer until 2011, I believe, I went in and I worked with the teachers, preparing them to enter the classroom. And I did some reading, math, and I also did the special education bit. It was just preparing them to receive those children that are they're usually ignored in regular classes because they're very quiet. Usually they remain very quiet. Or in New York, we recognize these kids because of failure in exams or behavior, So I did the complete package for the teachers there.
So if I understand you correctly, then once you stayed in the field, or once you got that first opportunity, you went on to qualify, and then you pretty much worked in the area of special education.
Yes.
Good.
Previously, before I certified as special education teacher, I actually was working to prevent children from going into special ed. And because I saw that in my community, there were a lot of kids going into special education, I decided to go into special ed and get them out. Because sometimes it becomes a pattern where families believe that once they have a special education IEP, which is an individual educational plan, that their child must remain in special ed, which is not, special ed is not a career. It is a 3-year program where the child is supposed to improve and work according to their potential.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm wondering if we have the same understanding of special education in terms of the way I understand it and what you're actually doing there. Because when we speak about special education, we're talking about children with different disabilities, different abilities, and then them being in these special programs where their specific needs are actually being addressed. But you talk about wanting to work with them to get out of special education. Tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, when at first the students, they're evaluated here, they then receive an IEP, which describes the complete child, social, emotional, and academic abilities. When the child goes into the class, the teacher then reads that IEP that's given to them. You then do your own analysis. Well, I make my own analysis. I really don't I read the IEP and then I do my own evaluation and then I start working with the child from there. Because my belief is that every child can leave special ed because we're all capable of learning. We just learn differently. you have the visual or the auditory learner or a tactile learner, and that's the way some children can only learn in those learning styles. So when I do a plan in my class, I need to basically cover those three areas of learning to make sure that I'm reaching every child in my class. In New York, we have our special education classes are 12 students, no more than 12. And the students I group them. After I do my assessment, I group them according to their learning styles, possibly abilities, and the plan goes on from there. When I get them to a point where they understand, because they must understand their own learning style in order to continue learning. And once they understand their learning, they're doing much better. They're beginning to understand their work better. And you see the improvement immediately. Because once they understand themselves, a lot of times no one really looked at how they learn.
And once they leave the program, they go into regular classrooms.
We mainstream them. Sometimes before we mainstream them, we allow them to go into a regular class for one subject or maybe two subjects, depending on. I usually meet with my grade teachers. So I always have one teacher or two that will take 2 or 3 of my kids per day in ELA or math. Whatever the weakness is, that's the subject that I would like the child to go into, to make sure that they can function in a regular class in their area of weakness.
You said that Ms. Faye Gillett was actually the motivational factor for you to start to do the work with our educators here in Belize.
Yes.
And you started approximately in 2003?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And that work still continues?
I have not done it. I stopped in 2011, I believe. And I'm currently retired from New York system also. I did want to go and do some work in terms of training teachers, but not as a workshop, but actually in the classroom with the teacher, because I believe that teachers learn better that way.
So there is a possibility that you will still go on to do that work, or?
There's a possibility. I'm retired now. COVID have just like slowed everything down in New York.
Hasn't it? Yes.
You know.
Yeah. But hopefully it will get better very soon, so that perhaps you can explore the possibility of continuing to do that work.
I do have contact with a principal in Moscow that I send work to, and we talk and I kind of explain some of the work. She's doing some work with her teacher. She's also retired, but she goes to her school, I send books and teacher materials for them, because I'm trying to I don't want most of the stuff that I have accumulated in my home.
So you're working with a retired teacher here in Belize, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
In the Maskell area?
Yes.
Are there other teachers in the diaspora who also participate?
No, I didn't make that kind of contact, but I decided to send her some books and materials extra. I think I sent them like 2 or 3 barrels of books and materials for school. And we're related. She's my cousin. And so I told her, she could do whatever she wanted with them. I just needed to get them out, and I didn't. And I think Belize was the best place for me to do that.
So you send materials to her as well as having dialogues with her about the whole teacher methodology and so forth, or?
Yes.
And
Yes.
how is that going?
Fine. Actually, she told me that the books they're all over. They're going all over because she gets, I believe she also gets some material from her sister living out here. And so she just makes sure that it's well shared amongst the educators that she knows.
Great, yeah. And as you said, the pandemic did affect the work that you were doing, wanted to continue to do. Yeah.
Yes. What happened is I also joined the Belize Diabetes Association, which I worked with the diabetic kids in Belize in the camp. And I really liked that, and I thought that that's a greater route to go to educate our students about diabetes, because children can change their parents' minds about most things. So if they understand themselves, they can help their parents to understand them, which will further educate our adults.
Indeed. On that note, Miss Ernestine, we will have to call this chat a wrap. Thank you for joining us tonight. Any final message for our viewers at home?
I always tell my family and most people that I know that have the young ones right now at home, because children are so addicted to television, I often look at a lot of TV, especially on PBS, to get work and work with them, work through what they're seeing, because what they're seeing is what they believe. The music, the shows that you have on television, have them write a new ending. Have them become involved in what they want to participate in, because they do live according to what they're seeing on the tubes. And I use it, for example, with our politics in America recently. That was like an excellent historical time in our country that we're never going to see again live. So I believe Belize is having an election today.
Yes, municipal elections.
And
yes,
they should look at that, develop math problems from it. How many votes did one city council member get? What is the percentage? And little things like that, involve them in your everyday life.
Good. Well, thank you again for joining and sharing with us, Ms. Ernestine, and thank you for the contributions you make to our Belize.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Viewers, we'll take our final break for the evening. We'll be right back. Viewers, thank you for staying tuned in to Dialogue with the Diaspora. We've come to the end of another interesting and inspiring dialogue. We are so very proud of all these genuine philanthropic efforts by our diaspora, who continue to help with the development of our jewel. On that note, we have to end our show for tonight, but we will be back again next Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on CBTV and on Facebook on Colorblind's page. Do enjoy the remainder of your night. Continue to social distance, wear your face mask, and remain vigilant. Good night and take good care.